Have you ever wondered how one decision, who you marry, can shape not just your future on earth, but even your eternity? That's what we're
You don't
talking about
actually
today.
love.
So
So
stick
now you're
around.
what we're doing helicopter parenting.
But we can even get more used to carrying the emotional bags.
I started down this journey on going from what I like to call healing to wholeness.
But we're not created as beings to be alone.
Good evening and welcome to Live, Love, and Marry Wiser, where our mission is in our name. Proverbs 4:7 says, wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, but in all thy getting, get understanding. And so we come here every Tuesday at 6:15 to help you get some wisdom about your life, your love, and your marriage. And we have a doozy of a conversation to share with you today. If you all have been in the book, Adventist Home, we are on chapter 6. Now, typically we do sections, but this section is so relevant and rich that we decided we needed to probably just go chapter by chapter because there's so many things. I don't think we could really get deep, and we want to get deep with you all to share this. We're not just here for entertainment, though we hope that we are entertaining. We are here so that you can make better decisions about these topics, about your relationships, about your marriages, about who you date. And so the topic is choosing your life partner God's way. And we really believe that if you listen and adhere, you can listen, but you then have to take the next step to adhere to the counsels that we are sharing, not from just our mind, but just from the book, that you will be successful. I'll say this one thing. If you've read the book or you never read it before and you see it, you're just like, oh, this seems old fashioned. And I would agree with that. But sometimes old fashioned is the best fashion.
Yes.
And so I think that these are principles that actually carry through from the beginning to the end of time. So, Onita, how are you, my friend?
I am doing wonderful, wonderful. I can't believe I felt like the last 7 days flew by because I feel like we were just talking 2 days ago. But we were, but probably in different capacity.
Yeah. Like, we were actually.
We were. Sunday and this morning. But I'm doing wonderful. The weather warmed up today.
Good.
And I mean, I know you're down there in the sunny side of Florida, but oh my goodness.
It just got warm this week. It was freezing all the time. Y'all were cold. We were freezing too.
So it was beautiful. Everybody was outside. I got some sunshine in. Got to volunteer today at my son's school, kindergartner. So I came home immediately, drank up all the extra vitamin C I could because they're all little petri dishes, and oh Lord. But it's been a beautiful, beautiful day, and so happy to be here and see your beautiful face and discuss this hot topic. So
all right. I love that. I love it.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I am doing very, very well. I'm tired, but it's a good tired. And I mean, it's mostly a good tired. So
it's a productive tired.
I took a nap today.
Oh, yes, Lord.
I mean, like a real nap, not like a little bit of nap, like a real. I didn't get under the covers, but I was knocked out because I was tired. Yesterday was a long day.
Yes.
And but I do feel good. I feel great about today. I feel great about just this year, all the things that have happened within the sphere of our life. Now, outside, the world is crazy, but thankfully you can have joy in your heart and joy in your life, even when there are things outside that you're not happy about.
Amen.
And that we would love to fix.
Amen.
But today we have a great topic.
Yes.
And I'm glad that you're here with me to talk about it. If you are here with us, please say hello in the chat. We would love to hear from you. So, we are talking today about choosing your life partner. And we're just going to go through the book. And I want to talk about the chapter number 6 is entitled The Great Decision. In the past 2 weeks, we've kind of done overviews of it and pulled out different pieces, but there's so much rich um, information and counsel here that we want to really take our time. And we might do that. We'll certainly do that more in this section on choosing your life partner. So if you have the book, break the book out. Break the book out.
Yes.
If you don't have the book, I put a link in the description, and I'll also drop it in the chat where you can get the Kindle version of the book for like 99 cents.
Yay.
Get the book. Get the book. And actually, you can download the whole Ellen White estate thing. You can download that for free.
Yeah.
I didn't put that link in there, but we can maybe do that as well. So the first section talks about happy or unhappy marriages. And I just want to start with a quote, which I'll probably do every time. And this is just the last part of this quote, but it is from the marriage hour that I'm going to go ahead and put that up so you all can see it and not just me, and you can see it. It is from the marriage hour that many men and women date their success or failure in this life and their hopes of the future life. Which category do you want to be in?
Mercy.
Talk to me, Onita, just about this section. And what do you...
Well, first of all, I didn't even know we were going there when we're like, oh, this chapter's starting, choosing your, and then bam.
Right out the gate.
Right out the gate. Marriages, will affect your life and the world today and for the world in the future. And I can tell you right now, when we're planning our wedding and decided on the cake and your first dance, what is thinking, oh, this is going to affect my world now and the future.
Right.
The future eating in heaven. Like, this is going to, because that's the reality. It is about our salvation. And we don't even, it's so trivial. Like, it doesn't even come up for discussion normally. I'm not saying everybody does it.
Right.
But a big part of this decision, I don't think we really weigh it. We weigh the weight of our salvation based on the mate we're choosing. That my happiness or joy now, because a person can't really make you happy. It still needs to come from within. But everything is going to be based on this relationship, what I'm with now and my future, my salvation. Like, yo.
Yo is right.
Yo. Like, a lot of conversations, a lot of things need to be discussed that I don't think many even contemplate. And so I love that the book even talk about even going back to your friends. Because, we used to hear growing up, birds of a feather flock together. And sometimes when you're in the friend group, my mom would be like, if your friend jump off a bridge, you going to jump too? And you'd be like, well, I ain't going to jump off a bridge. But the reality is, who you align yourself with will dictate your output in life. They will influence you. They will influence you. And what this chapter is showing us, the person that you marry can literally help you thrive and be your most successful and your best version of yourself, or they can be your absolute detriment. And I could say from personal experience of marriages that I've seen, but also even in my own, that can't nobody really get me off kilter, and like my day can't really mess up unless me and my husband are not in a good place. Like, work-wise, we probably still can function, but internally, if there's not a full alignment, we're not at peace, we're not vibing, then it will affect me. So when I think about that, just in my own physical, and I'm like, imagine someone coming into a home daily where there's turmoil daily with their spouse, where their spouse is daily cutting them down, verbal abuse, even physical. Daily, there's financial abuse, there's controlling behavior. Daily, they're dealing with narcissistic tendencies. Daily, they're dealing with their wife, flying off. She got, what they call it, daggers coming out of her mouth every time she's talking to him. Daily, this is what's happening. So Christ and the love of God, the agape love he wants us to have, can't live in an environment like that.
Yeah.
It won't thrive in an environment like
Mhm.
that. And ultimately, both parties are not showing each other Christ-like behavior. So why would they want to even have the relationship with God? And therefore, why would they even, what is heaven looking like? If they think I got to spend eternity with this person,
That is hilarious. That's
like what?
hilarious.
I'm not
Yeah.
doing this here and then going to heaven and doing
Yeah.
it. I mean, that's a whole other conversation about marriage and heaven. But my point is,
Right. Yeah. I
we
understand
have
what
the
you're saying.
power. We
I
have
don't
the
want to go
power.
where they're going.
Right, right. But to just make it plain, the fact that who we marry can affect our now and our eternal self, because they really have that much. I'm not trying to say power over you, but that much influence in
Mhm.
how you show up in the world, how you see yourself, and how you see God. So it is so
Yeah.
important that there are conversations. Love is
Mhm.
good, but like even the chapter talks about, love ain't all that it is. How is
Mhm.
this person
Yeah, we'll get
planning to
there.
do life?
Mhm.
What do they want to see? Oh, how are you going to handle conflicts? Um, Parenting things, because that later comes down the line. If you once you do decide to be married, what is that going to look like? What kind of tone? What's the environment in your home? What is that going to look like? And having those real life conversations need to happen early on in the relationship. And of course, premarital counseling will help.
Mhm.
If people do it, a lot of people skip it because I'm so in love. We're so in love. We don't need to do that. We're fine. We're good. We've talked about all the things. We don't need premarital counseling. And people bypass that. But some of that stuff would come out in premarital counseling. But a lot of people skip that because they're just so in love. And he's my soulmate.
Yeah.
And it's going to be perfect. And this
Yeah.
chapter just kind of just pokes holes in all of those stories.
Oh yeah. It
Yeah.
doesn't. Yeah. It totally shreds that argument.
Yes.
And the reality is, the decision isn't about romance at
Yeah.
all. It's about destiny.
Yes.
The person you choose to join your life with, like your life, will
Yes.
influence your spiritual walk, your home, your peace, your success or failure in life. I just think that is not something that I know it's not something that we talk about. It's something that I try to talk about. I actually use the last part of this quote that I read. I actually
Mhm.
use the whole quote because, and let me just share it with you all. It says, it's a little bit longer, but I want you to get the magnitude of what is being said here. That if those who are contemplating marriage would not have miserable, unhappy reflections after marriage,
Mm.
they must make it a subject of serious, earnest reflection now.
Wow.
Now, like single women, single men that are now is when you make it a subject of serious, earnest reflection. Trying to do it later, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it can help a little bit, but if you're the only one doing it, like we want you to have healthy, happy, joyful, blissful marriages. That is possible here. This step taken unwisely is one of the most effective means of ruining the usefulness of young men and women and old men and women. And old
Yes.
women.
Yes.
Life becomes a burden, a curse. This is just what you were saying. Like every day it's something. Every day it's just like, even when there isn't those extreme things like cheating and abuse, it's just like misery.
Yeah.
She's calling it a curse. No one can so effectually ruin a woman's happiness and usefulness and make, this is like one of my favorite lines in the whole book, and make life in the way she words it, not in content of it, and make life a heart sickening burden as her husband. No one. The
Wow.
Bible, she says no one can do that. And no one can do 100th part as much to chill the hopes and aspirations of a man to paralyze his energies and ruin his influence and prospects as his own wife.
Sheesh.
And that's when it ends. It is from the marriage hour. Like, as soon as you say I do, it just goes to hell in a handbasket. It's basically what she said. That people date their success or failure.
Yeah.
So, like, no one has, and yet, with all of that said, we talking about the dress, and we talking about the bridesmaids, and we fighting about whether it's gonna be chicken or fried chicken or baked chicken, because this is ghetto, and that's, you are going to choose someone who could actually influence you to hell.
Yes.
Hell on earth, and then actual hell. And you worried about some dumb stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not saying not to have a nice wedding, but that's not the point. We spend too much time on the wedding and not enough time on the actual marriage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we really have to teach our young people from our children, or those that we have influence over. It has to be a matter of serious prayer and reflection, and intensity around making this decision. It's not just so you can feel good, because rest assured you won't feel good for long. If you just doing whatever.
Right.
So the next section is make haste slowly.
Slow down.
Yeah.
Slow down. Like contemplating marriage. One, contemplate it. Like, think about, like you said, first of all, what it is, what it means, but also recognizing that the feelings, I'm happy now, I want to do this one, those are fading. They will fade. What comes next? Is this person are we able to, are our values and beliefs aligned? Is this person a Christian and I'm a Christian?
Because, and are they demonstrating that, or are they just saying it?
Right. Are they demonstrating? They live in that life? Are they telling me on the phone, you're worth the wait, baby? And then as soon as we go on 1 or 2 dates, they're trying to, coach you into the bedroom. And this is even somebody that's in church, that you've met in church.
Come on. Yes.
So to that point, are they call themselves a Christian, but are they demonstrating and really, walking the walk, like they're talking the talk? Because even that in itself, as you're contemplating what our home is going to look like, what influence we're going to have, and really, is this person going to be my purpose partner? Is this person, is he going to be a man that is submitting to God? Therefore, I know when I submit to him, we are following God, and we submit to each other. We both are submitting to God, that when he's making decisions, I can blindly follow him, because I know, not blindly, but I can follow him and trust that he's brought it for God, before God. And he's not just making decisions off on a whim and quick tempered and not able to regulate his own emotions. So therefore, how can he show up for me and hold space for me? Is this the person that's doing that? And also, to your point, you said a few minutes ago, self-reflection. Am I ready? Am I where I need to be spiritually with God? Like, am I spending my own daily devotional time with God, walking and talking with him, asking God to heal me from my childhood traumas, so that I can be the wife that's not going to lash my husband with my words when he comes home from work? God, what is happening? Like, do a thing in me. What things need to be fixed in me, so I can be the wife and the help me you want me to be? Again, these things got to happen even before the proposal. Like, you're dating, you should know before you meet the person. Before you meet the person, if you're in your singleness now, work on you. Like, Holy Spirit, work on me. How do I need to be? And then visualizing, how do you want marriage to be? What do you want that to look like? Write it out. This is what I know I want it to look like. These are my non-negotiables. Here's the values I have and bring to the table. What are the values I want this person to have? so that when you do start dating some of these people and it's not in a line, okay, here's some red flags.
Yeah.
Here's some
It
red
don't
flags.
even take you long. It take you probably one date.
Right. You already
I've
know.
had those where it's like one conversation. I'm like, oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And so what we're saying is don't start making excuse. My daughter right now is helping a couple of friends with this. Don't keep women, we have the tendency to rationalize the truth of what the man has shown us. And I know several people who got married based on the potential the man had rather than the reality on what he showed and told them.
Yeah.
The same you that's all based on feelings. This is about your current life and your future life, your salvation. You're not marrying the potential. What has the person actually showed you?
Right.
Do not rationalize it.
Do not rationalize it.
Well, I know his dad wasn't there, so I know he didn't have the best of this, and I know
there's opportunity to have everything that you need.
Yes.
And to make a different decision, regardless of, because there are plenty of people who didn't have their father, and then they just made a different decision.
Made a
choice.
different choice.
It doesn't mean that they may not have hurts or whatever, but they made a different decision about what they were going to do with their life. Yes. In light of what maybe their father did with their life. They're like, oh, I don't want to do that because this is how it impacts people. So I want to do something different.
Yes. So, I don't know if this is the part 2 of the book of this chapter where it said, even if you are engaged.
Yeah, that's we'll get to it. Yeah.
It ain't aligning right, baby. Cancel the reservations, call the caterer, call the DJ, let the pastor, reverend, priest, whoever you got officiating know, we need to call this off. Because it's better to and again, I get it, you may feel humiliation. No, it's way better to stop it now than once you get married. Do not feel like you got to rush into this thing because, well, everybody in the church know we've been dating a while. Or we've been together 10 years and you've been doing all the marital things already. It don't take a man 10 years. You ask happily married men, did it take them 10 years to
it doesn't take them 10 years.
12 years, 6 years. They knew way.
It doesn't usually take any years.
No, it don't.
No. You may not be ready to do it right then, but you know who you want to do it with.
Oh yeah.
You know who you have chosen, and then you just govern yourselves accordingly. So yeah, I totally agree with everything that you said, and I think that it's been documented that the whole infatuation thing lasts between 18 and 24 months. And, people who are older might think, I'm not trying to wait 18 to 24 months or whatever. And maybe you don't have to, but recognize that feeling is a legit feeling, but it will pass.
Yes.
And if it's all that you have, then you have nothing.
Yes.
So that means that all of the other investigation needs to be going on even while you are having that feeling. Yes. Great. Like I'm excited to be with him. I love talking to him and blah, blah, blah. But all of that's beautiful. No one's mad at that. No one's saying it should be like boring and terrible. It's not like an exam, it's like, that's not the point.
Yeah.
But you should be examining character. You should be examining the nature of the relationship. And even in this section, it talks about, like, based on what you're seeing, what is the character of the home going to be that you develop?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Is that what you want? Do you want to do you want a home where there's constant tension and picking at each other and undermining each other and cracking on? Is that what you want your children? Like, if you have children, is that what you want them to grow up doing and seeing?
He on the PlayStation all day, so he get home from work.
Exactly. So what is it that you're trying to build? Because even when you go to an architect, they don't just like draw designs, like they need to know what you're trying to build. Yes. They need to know where you're trying to build it. They're trying to know how much you have to spend. Like, all of these details come before they even put pen to paper.
Yes.
I guess they don't probably do it by pen anymore, but you know what I'm saying? Like they don't start designing until they know what you're trying to build. And
Mm-hmm.
so you said earlier, like decide what kind of home you want. And
Yes.
maybe you had a wretched, crazy place and you don't even know what that means. Well, read the book, first of all, because it'll tell you. We talked about that in the first 2 episodes. Like, what
Yes.
kind of home are you trying to build? But then also talk to other people and get counsel. Um, and let me just throw this in here. A lot of times marriage is done hastily because we idolize it.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And I was on a podcast or webinar on Sunday, and the topic was like how do you navigate the Valentine vibes as a single person. There was like a married couple on there too, and then
Mhm.
a single man and me. And we talked about that, and I was basically saying that there was a time, and I didn't use this language, but there was a time when I got depressed and fell into a depression because I'm just like, okay, God, like I'm trying to do all the right things
Mhm.
and I can't get married, and all these other people just out here wilding out, and then they having weddings all the time. Like, what's up with that? That
Right.
doesn't seem unfair. That doesn't seem fair to me. And so, but after I kind of moved past that, and God and I got back on the same page, there's a recognition that I have done it, idolize marriage. Like life is not really life unless you're married. And a marriage is beautiful and wonderful and good.
Mhm.
It and should I say it can be? Because
Yes.
in here she said the marriage in the majority of cases is a galling yoke, but
Yes.
it can be beautiful and wonderful and amazing.
Yes.
But it is not life. It is just an aspect of life that certainly, obviously, what we're saying influences everything else. But if we idolize it, then as soon as we have the opportunity, we dive into it without, and we put all the blinders on
Yes.
because
Yes.
we just don't want to see what's happening, and we rush to. It's almost like the faster you rush, the more you're trying to avoid seeing, because you're just like,
Yes.
when we get married, it'll be great. No, it's going to actually be
Yeah.
worse.
It's not going to change it. It's going to amplify whatever you saw there. It's going to amplify.
So, what should we be looking for? What are some good prospects of a wife? Characteristics of a wife. What are some of the questions that this book talks about that that a man should be asking, and that I believe we should be asking ourselves? Are we this?
Yes.
So, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
First of all, you said
Sorry.
having a wife, it's just going to be a woman that right when your parents need you the most, she going to be like basically abandon your mother and father. Like, don't help them. And I'm like, some people, if you talk to a lot of people now in this detachment environment that we are in, a lot of people already aren't talking to their family. Like before this point, oh, my family talks and I'm fooling them. Oh, I'm really fooling my mom and dad. So that's one in our community, such a breakdown already, where you don't see a lot of the family dynamics that you used to back in the day. Like you knew somebody's gonna be taking grandma, big mama moving in somebody's house. Ain't she gonna be out here? She ain't in her song. Unfortunately, you don't see that as much.
Mhm.
But I thought it was very interesting that to recognize that, hey, one, is the woman you're marrying, is she going to be a good homemaker? One, is she going to be good for your children? How's she going to nurture your children? Is she
Mhm.
going to be a wife that encourages you? Or is she going to be a clanging cymbal that every time you come home, she every time. Nothing you do is good enough. I'm getting sick and tired of da 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 da. Are you both going to keep score all the time? It's going to be tit for tat in your home, right? But I thought I was just like the fact that she plainly said that part though about hey, is your wife going to be there? Is she going to tell you not to show up for your family? Because I've seen that happen. I've seen where it's not the emotional investment where the husband, because you have some of that too with the husbands,
Right.
in certain cultures even
It's
more.
just the normal.
It's the normal thing where they're married to their wife, but their mama is still number one. And even though the Bible says leave and cleave, you marry, there's that part where that doesn't happen. But I've seen too where some women have been like, no, your mama calling it on, don't answer. No, that's not honoring your father and mother. I don't remember there being an expiration period on honoring your father and mother. Like up until you get married, then you don't honor them no more. No, is that the case?
Yeah.
Will this person or marrying this person, will it help me move heavenward? Like, is it going to help my faith walk with Christ? Or is this person going to lead me astray? What is it going to do?
Right. Because are you compromising while you're dating?
Right. Oh, that's a good one. Are you already compromising? Are they respecting the boundary that, hey, you're saying I'm honoring the Sabbath on Friday evening, so hey, let's set a date for another time. Are they willing to go with you to your start? Okay, maybe they're not the same faith as you, but they are Christian. Are they willing to even come and see what you believe in and support your beliefs and support you in different endeavors? When you dating them, will your love for God increase or will it decrease?
Yes.
Will they stay? I ain't really into all that church stuff. So you're like, well, it's okay, babe. You ain't got to go with me. Pause. Hard stop. As Evan would say, full stop. No.
Full stop.
Full stop. Because it's going to impact your world now. And it's going to impact you. Are you going to make it to the kingdom now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you're already compromising in the dating.
Yes. Especially, and let me just say this, especially women.
Yes.
Especially women. Because women are because we want to be led.
Yeah.
And so if you're not leading us to the kingdom, then we too many times will follow you to where you go.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a young woman that it just hurts my heart. There's more than one, but there's one particular one that was in my church in Richmond, and she was like on fire for the Lord. And I think that she had come to Christ in not like she didn't grow up in the church. So when I met her, she was probably, I don't know, probably in her 30s or something like that. She had a child but she was either divorced or she was a single mother. And she was like on fire for the Lord. She loved the Lord, the whole thing. And I was sort of like a big sister to her. And then she just disappeared. And I was like, because she was always telling me that she was lonely and wanted to, to have a partner again in life and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, I get it. I mean, I totally understand. Like,
yes.
And then she just started like coming less and less, and I would just try to reach out to her, and then she just kind of disappeared. And I found out that she had married some joker. And she was just gone, like back to her old life kind of thing. And that is heartbreaking, more to God than even to us.
Yeah.
That we allow our relationships. It's much less common for a man to leave the church because of a woman than for the woman to leave the church because of
yeah. My mom used to say, she used to say, a woman will leave a man to God, but an ungodly man will leave a woman straight to hell. Like, and not ungodly, unsure man. Like if I'm Christian, but I'm not. She I was like, she just busts out with this. Woman will leave man to God, but man will leave her right to hell. And I'm like, what? But the reality is this: if he's not firm in his faith,
it's easy to follow.
Easy.
And it's just a battle too, because there's this whole submitting to your husband thing, which obviously you shouldn't if he's not doing the right thing. Yeah. But our natural tendency is to submit to our husbands. And especially if they're like good people,
Yeah.
not abusive or whatever, just like not Christian or not solidly following the Lord, like the Christ is the center of their life too, then it's just a creeping compromise of what we begin to do so that that person is happy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, yeah, is she, but I'm not to suggest that men don't go down the wrong path because of women too.
Oh,
Obviously,
for sure.
Adam's the first one who went down the wrong path because of a woman. So we know and many men have followed his lead. So obviously we know, but it's just like, like, is she that kind of person? And then she switches the attention to like, what kind of man is he?
Yeah.
And is he worthy? I love that she says this. Like, the book
Yes.
was like, is he worthy for
Yes.
her to unite her destiny with?
Woo.
Is he worthy?
Woo.
Like, let's just be, no.
Yes.
He ain't. And that's not to put anybody down, but like, where I'm going, you not going. You not interested in going. And maybe you will be down the road, but you're not worthy of my attention because God is my father.
Hello.
That means I am royalty. Are you royalty?
Yes. Yes.
Let's be real. The princes of, people were mad at Meghan Markle's husband because she wasn't, in their perspective, in a worldly way, worthy, because she wasn't royalty, or she wasn't, and there's other reasons too, but
Yeah.
we're not gonna go down that path right now. But are you worthy? Are you worthy?
Yeah.
And is he manly? She's like, manly traits, like
Yes.
a man who leads. He does not like following you and trying to figure, and you figuring things out, and you have to like navigate the whole life.
Yes.
Is he pure? Like, we always think of women being, sexually pure and just having but like, is he pure? Because there are plenty of men who make the decision to be pure until they get married. There's plenty of them.
Yeah.
And so, is he that?
Do you have self-control? Did he have self-control enough to say, I'm waiting?
Right.
And he ain't got a bunch of babies out here already, but you're gonna be the one to change them.
Right.
You got
Exactly.
several baby mamas already. No.
Is he idle?
Hello.
And she actually says trifling in here.
Right.
Like, she doesn't say trifling. That ain't a new word. That's not a new word. Is he trifling?
Yes, he trifling. Good for nothing kind of brother.
So, and like you were saying, is he on the Game Boy or whatever those things are? Is he playing games? Is he gaming all the time? He got, thousands of dollars worth of all this equipment, but you can't, pay the mortgage or, whatever. Like, what is his character? And these are all character things. And I love this. And see, this is why I'm really passionate about this book, but also about people reading for themselves. Because one thing she says in here that I love, it says, will she be allowed to preserve her individuality, or must her judgment and conscience be surrendered to the control of her husband?
Woo! I highlighted that circle exclamation point.
Because people act like old-fashioned means or whatever. It's like, yeah, she was just born when she was born, and she wrote this when she wrote it, and it's still applicable. Yeah. Can you still be you? Or is he trying to dominate and be domineering and swallow up your personality in his, as opposed to oneness from a spiritual perspective? He's trying to make it like one, in that he's the only one that matters. She's just like, nah, sis. Nah. You still need to be an individual. You still got purpose. You still have power. You still have all the things and judgment that God gave you. If he can't accept that and embrace that and learn from that and grow from that, you need to really reevaluate.
That's major, because I've seen a lot of marriages in church, particularly, where that's the one. I'm not just saying the guy did that, but sometimes the tone from the pulpit was that of
Mhm.
one when it comes to submission and it comes to, yeah, because all your little friends you're hanging out with, you got it, you married now, you're a married woman now, you can't be. Now I get it. There's some friends you were aligned with who they like, girl, we going partying, clubbing all the time. Forget your man.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you gotta. But I'm talking about friends that are gonna be there praying you through, and it's for your spouse wants all or nothing.
Right.
He loved the way you dress before y'all got married. And now he wants you dressing like his mom with the long dress to the floor and a bunch of flowers all over it. Have no problem with that. But what I'm saying, I know somebody who specifically that's how the husband, hey,
Yeah.
he literally said, well, my mom shops here. What? When you're dating,
But you should go buy her a dress then, because I'm not going there.
I go in there. But that's may seem minor, but it's when you start
Yeah.
to small compromise and then you're years into the marriage
Right.
and you have given all of yourself, you don't even know who you are anymore.
Mhm.
You're either going to implode or
Right.
explode. You're going to be depressed. There's going to be anger, regression, and you will not connect to God the way you need to because there's resentment, there's bitterness.
Mhm.
You're not looking heavenward. You're like, I just want to die or get out of this by any means necessary. And unfortunately, some people look
Mhm.
to another person to where there's now infidelity in the marriage, or they honestly, that type of stress and anger and depression will make you physically sick, and a lot more
Mhm.
major illnesses can come and develop. I
Yeah.
love that she brought that point out. And again, like you said, it's timeless. It's a timeless thing to say, and
Timeless.
for both parties, because you also have
Yes.
some women who feel like we're married now. You can't hang with your boys. You can't go play ball.
Yeah.
You can't go do. No, you're still two individuals, two
Mhm.
very unique individuals that God created to come together and help each other in your purpose and help each other be better versions of themselves. But get better, but not lose yourself in
Right.
each other to where
Exactly.
nothing else matters, nobody else, and you don't even know. You use all your life. You only want your egg scrambled. He wants his hard. He want hard boiled, and now that's all you can eat because that's all he eat. No, you still can like your boiled egg, your scrambled eggs. And he likes his boiled eggs. But I'm saying I love that he has that because it's not just about losing self as individuality, but your judgment. You should
Mhm.
be able to make choices.
Right.
Your conscience still matters. The way
Yes.
you, these things still matter. Will
Mhm.
he discourage you from even having that mindset?
Mhm.
Even now in the dating,
Just
when
because I said it, it's all that we believe and do. It's like
that's
no.
it. No, no. What is the thought process to be even while you're dating? If he asking you or considering you even? And I think Pastor Leggett and Perla brought this up too, even in the dating situation. See, like even in the dating, him
Mhm.
just saying, "I'm taking you XYZ." No, where am I going? And
Mhm.
letting you have the choice. And it
Mhm.
seems minor, but understanding, ladies, you have to up front say, I still have a say in this. It's one thing y'all been dating for months. Hey, babe, I want to surprise you. But even early on, setting the tone that I still have a mind. I'm still going
Mhm.
to make decisions for myself, even if we are together. And it's so critical because I feel like in church for years, and especially people working in ministry, I have a heart. I'm very passionate about praying for pastoral couples in general because they have their marriage, but then there's the expectations of the church that everybody has on them. And unfortunately, a lot of the marriages, you don't see the joy that you probably would like to see
Mhm.
because of them having to live up to everybody else's expectations.
Right. Right.
But I think a big part of this is the individuality, having that, keeping that we are two individuals, like
Mhm.
major, and understanding that will I be able to find joy and peace in you and your affection, or is it our love now transactional? Is it only because I agree with what you want me to agree with? Are you now being nice to me?
Mhm.
And
Right.
vice versa to the guy. Oh, I gave you XYZ, so now you're gonna give me the sex. We're not, all these transactions. It's not the way
Yeah.
God intended our marriages to be.
Right.
It should be
No.
a peaceful union. It should be a place where we both feel safe. We both
Mhm.
have a safe space for each other. We both can come and pray and bring our cares, before God together. It's not one sided.
Mhm. Absolutely, absolutely. And as we're gonna start to wrap up here, we got some points for you all, some calls to action, things that you can do as you are kind of in your journey. But um, I wanted to also
One thing I forgot to say, because my grandma said this for years, and
okay.
I love that the book brought it up. Does he respect his? She said mother, but his mama.
That's
What
exactly what I was about to say. So
does he respect his mama? What is his
yes, because if
relationship
he
like with that?
doesn't, it's not you done, girl.
Yeah,
It's gonna last for a few minutes, but it'll be over once the real world kicks in.
yes,
You not have all those life responsibilities. He can't just be on the phone with you for hours on end or texting or whatever.
yes,
Um, and I guess I want to also highlight where the book talks about um shun those who are irreverent, one
mm,
who is a lover of idleness, one who is a scoffer of hallowed things. Listen not to the proposals of a man who has no realization of his responsibility to God.
mm,
One thing that I find unattractive is a man who doesn't do anything in the church. He just comes and goes. I find that unattractive in all people, but if I were trying to date someone
mhm.
and it's not like they are new to the church or whatever. I'm not talking about that. But if someone's been in the church and they're just like not doing anything, not serving in any capacity, I find that unattractive.
Yeah,
And it says he has no responsibility to God. And I believe the church is God. The church has one foundation, is
yes,
Jesus Christ our Lord. And whether it's the best of churches or the not best of churches, if you're there, then I think it is our responsibility to serve in a way that can make it better. Even if you can't change the whole thing, you can make your part better, you
yes,
know?
yeah,
And it's unattractive to me to have someone who doesn't feel that pull or that draw to serve. Now, sometimes we overserve and then we just need to take a break. Take a
yeah,
break, I think that I've done that, but it's
yeah,
usually like a year maybe, and then I'm just like I can't, just it's like I feel unsettled if I'm just going to church and just receiving and not giving back.
yeah,
And so, other people may interpret this differently as their responsibility to God, fine, but whatever that means to you, then evaluate that.
mhm, mhm,
And if they don't, if the Sabbath means nothing to them, and or whenever you worship that means nothing to them, they go to church and they're just like just doing whatever, and don't understand. Like we all slip up and maybe we do some things we shouldn't be doing in church, I think.
mhm,
Maybe talking about some things that's like really not what we should be talking about on Sabbath and in the house of God. So I'm not saying, I'm saying that your attitude is irreverent. Your attitude is unconcerned about godly things. And that's not even at church either, only
yeah,
it's at home, is wherever you are. Like
yep,
they're not interested in any godly music. They're just not like, they're just whatever. So just be mindful of that. And so getting to the point where, what you brought up earlier is you get engaged and you realize that you have not done a sufficient enough vetting process, and you're just like, okay, this ain't looking so good. Get out.
run, Forrest, run.
Run, Forrest, run. I love it. It's
Uh,
far easier to make a mistake,
yeah,
um, and to get engaged and then be like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, than it is to fix it if you get married. Um, we have to be in a place also, we have to have people around us and this is going to be one of the points that we make, you have to have people around you who support that decision.
Yeah.
Because it's very difficult to make that decision, especially if plans have actually been made, announcements have been made, and things have been purchased or whatever. Especially the amount of money that people spend on weddings now, it's a lot.
Yes,
And so
absurd.
maybe we need to be mindful of that, even and how
Mhm.
we are making a show of the wedding, so that we feel handcuffed, really.
Mhm.
It's like we don't spend $30,000 on this and that and that and that, and now we gotta try to get out, and we're not gonna get that money back. Sometimes, sometimes you can, depending on whatever, but you can't make a decision for your life about money.
Yeah.
And so the counsel is break up, break the engagement, rather than get into a marriage that is not honoring God, and that is leading you to a place that you don't want to go,
Right.
both on earth and in eternity.
Mhm.
So any final thoughts on that section?
Yeah, I was gonna say also, if you're in church, because I saw a couple, I think Victor and I may have already been married, and they were dating and they got baptized, and then people in the church were telling them they rushed them to get married. They were like, "Y'all need to get married. Y'all need to get married." No, I don't even think they did premarital counseling, and they loved each other. They were dating. I think they may have even been living together, and I think that's what's the push why everybody said you need to get married. But they've since been for a while now divorced, and neither of them are even in the church anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so my point I wanted to make was for those people in church too, don't always speak on a thing or trying to get people to get married when you yourself have not prayed about it. The last sentence in that chapter hit me when she said, "A sincere Christian will make no plans that God cannot approve."
Yes.
A sincere Christian. And so before you going out and speaking on a thing, telling people y'all need to go ahead and get married, y'all been together this long, did the Holy Spirit tell you that? That's just what you thought.
Right.
So, if you've been dating a person, you're in a relationship, y'all need to see God about it. My godmother years ago used to say a woman's heart should be buried so deep in God that a man has to seek God for it. Like he has to go to God. He's praying to God. God, is she the one for me? And that's what's happening. He's seeking God about it, and she's so in a love and in a deep relationship with God. The Holy Spirit will let them know this is time. Nobody else should have to come and speak to y'all and say, y'all need to go ahead and y'all.
Right. Exactly.
Many people have gotten married, and like she said, the point was it's better to, easier to make a mistake than to correct it, because once you're already in it, there's no correcting it. So people rushing into marriage based on, what people are saying, based on, oh, we didn't wait, so there's a baby here now, and so we need to go ahead and do it. So even the foundation, you didn't make the commitment before the baby. And I can tell you, from being married, married for 5 years and having a baby, and the way a mother's mind and attention has to shift to that baby. If your marriage is not secure, and if your relationship is not secure with that man, and he's not willing to understand, oh, this time I'm gonna have to be, and I've seen it happen time and time again, what some marriages suffer at this point, where there's turmoil because all she worried about is the kids, and she's feeling out here left alone, not able to do what she needs to do, her
and not having help.
And now not having help because
now nobody mad at you helping, since it's your child too. Like
now he's resentful and all these things. So you rushed into the marriage where you weren't even dating that long because there's the baby. So now you have all of this. I'm not saying it can't later work out, but it's not the joy, it's not the peace that God intended. He intended. And so make the decision to do the things that you need to do individually with God and your faith walk with him to get you where you need to be when you want to become a wife or you want to become a husband. But also do not rush into this decision based on the murmurings of other people. Yield to the Holy Spirit. Yield to the Holy Spirit. Do not rush into it without premarital counseling. So many things will come up. You think, even my husband and I, we thought we had talked about everything. We talked for hours, multiple nights a week. But premarital counseling brought up some more stuff. And I
Right.
love that the pastor who did it for us, very, very first meeting was about my spirituality and what I believed in, and in assuring that he believed it too, or he knew what I was going to believe in, and how this is what her faith is. She's not going to deter from that, because it was very important that foundationally we know this stuff up front. And so don't rush into it, y'all. And if you in an engagement and you already got 50 red flags, stop making excuses for it. It's not good. You
Get
cannot.
out now. Get out
Right, you're
now.
out now.
I'm
Get
just
out now.
dropping right now. I just dropped the link to the book if you want to get the
Okay.
Kindle version. Just try it. Like you're really gonna appreciate it, especially if
Yeah.
you're in the time of dating. If you can just holler at us for a minute and just let us know that you're here. We appreciate that. If you have any questions or comments, let us know that. So I just want to go through a few just points here as we close. Pray for discernment.
Yes.
You want to write those? Come on, man. It's driving me crazy with all the typos. It's hard to it's hard to explain why it's hard, but it's hard. Pray for discernment. Ask God to reveal his will.
Amen.
He will tell you. He's not going to leave you in the dark trying to figure out if this is the right person or not.
Yeah.
Number two is seek mentorship. And I call them wise women because live, love, and marry wiser. But we did I did a course on red, yellow, and green flags. And the first section of the course is about finding accountability. One of the first sections is about getting accountability, getting a wise woman or women in your life who have free reign to tell you yes or no.
Yes.
Not just like, oh, someone that I giggle with and like, no, an older woman who is wise, who's done it. She's either done it well or she's been a solid, because I'm like, I give people counsel all the time. I've never been married, but I use the Bible and this and wisdom. So someone that you can trust, that they're going to tell you the truth, that they care about you, and they're not going to pull punches. They may be kind about it, but they won't pull punches and let you get into something that you shouldn't be in. So get you a wise woman or a group of wise women to really. Well, I'll tell you this story. I have a younger woman who's a friend, and she's probably she's in her late 40s now. But when I met her, it was about when I first started doing speaking at retreats for singles. In fact, it was the very first one. And so that was in 2014. So what is that? 11 years now?
Yeah.
So she was in her 30s at that time. And she emailed me after the retreat and she said, she's like, I want to get your advice. And I said, I was like, sure. So she told me about a situation with the guy that she was dating at the time. It was a long distance relationship. And she just was telling me all of the situations. And yeah, it was bad. It was bad. I had all like sort of red flags donging in my head and, the whole thing. So what I said to her was, I gave her some scriptures and I gave her some quotes from this book. This chapter that we just talked about, chapter 6, was, where it's talking about the prospects of a husband and all that. I said, hey, read these and then make your decision. I didn't tell her what to do. And I said, just read these, because whenever I tell people what to do, then they don't ever do it. So I was just like, so I'm just like, let me try something different here. Let me just help them come to their own conclusion. And it's their life, whatever. I didn't know her that well. I met her at the retreat, but I didn't know her. So I said, hey, read this and then, pray about it and then decide, what you're going to do and just let me know. Typically when I do stuff like that, people just they don't let me know because they just do whatever they want to do anyway.
Mm.
I think the same week she emailed me back and she said, "Oh, I broke up with him." I was just like, "What? What? What? Wherefore come thou?" Like, so I was just like, "Okay, cool." We talked through. Now, like, we're really great friends. We became friends because she reached out and said, "Hey, I need counsel on this." So first of all, I guess we have to come the right way. Don't Sometimes we can't tell people what to do. We just have to help them try to come to their own conclusion by giving them the resources that they need.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's appropriate to say, "Hey, if you ask my opinion," but if we have people in our circle that we trust already, then we should be willing to listen to whatever they have to say because they can see the 360 and we can only see the 180. That
Yes.
is just the truth.
Yes.
It's just the truth. And so have some mentorship around relationships.
Be willing to listen to, because some people are like, you're just hating on me. It's not. No, we've walked the road.
Right.
I can tell you what's about that.
And you should have married people to help you with that. And that's in your group of accountability. You should have married women in there. And if you're a guy, you should have married men in there, like happily married people.
Yes.
Not that angry people can't give good advice, because sometimes their advice is better than everybody's advice. Right. You want to read this one?
Assess character and compatibility. Look beyond the emotions.
Yeah, you talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so don't just, because he makes me feel good. You get in your good morning text, "Good morning, Queen." That's cool and everything, but first of all,
First of all, I hate that. So,
right, exactly.
So don't do that if you try to holler at me.
Please don't. Grand Rising, Queen. But assess the character. What are their characters? Are they kind? Are they forgiving and understanding? How do you guys navigate conflicts? Are they only raising their voice every time there's conflict? Are they able to regulate their own emotions and you guys have a civilized conversation? And then compatibility, if seeing if you're compatible is not about just trivial things about, I like soul food's the best, but he only likes Italian, so we're not compatible. No. Compatibility, one, the way that our faiths are, this is a major part of your foundation. Your faith, how you show up in the world, compatibility, that part of it. How do we treat people? It's just a person who, like you said, Lorraine, have no desire at all to serve, but you do serve, and that's part of who you are.
And they're gonna be mad every time you got to go to the church and do
every time. Every temple. And I'm tired of people at the church and not understanding this is not about the church. This is about the call that God called us all to do. He called us all to serve.
Right.
So you found this message. You have this hope. Now you need to go and serve. And every member of the church is the body, and we all make it up. We are the church. So, are we compatible in that way? And and really knowing this, trying to get to not the way he dressed or the way she dressed or looks. Who are they really?
Yeah.
On their day to day, who are they? How are they showing up?
Yeah. Amen. I love that. Commit to purity and preparation. Work on yourself before seeking a partner. Yeah, we talked about this. We're just going to highlight it again. Commit to purity. I was watching. Who Whitney Davis is? Just Witty.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy.
And everyone's so happy because she just got married. Well, she got married in October, but she just told everyone she got married like a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
She just posted that, and she's like, they've been kind of keeping it private just to kind of get their bearings and all of that. And I love that because I'm gonna do that.
Yes.
But not that a whole lot of people. There are actually a lot of people who would care if I got married when I get married. There's a lot of people who've been like observing this situation.
Yes.
But one thing, I was watching the interview with them on the Dear Future Wifey podcast, and they were talking about purity and how he had already previously committed to abstinence. he had in the past he had done it, but he like, committed himself to God and recommitted to abstinence before he even met her. And and then of course, she has been abstinent
Yes.
and a virgin. And so they talked about that, and just, and the thing that she talked about that I thought was really important is that, and we'll talk about this at some point, but just like, yeah, it's beautiful that you waited for each other and all of that, but it's not all that easy. Like those first, the first few months and all of that.
Yeah.
There's some real, there's some real growth that needs to happen.
Yeah,
There's some challenges of navigating that. So we'll talk about that at some point, but it's important. The beautiful part is that you're walking through that journey together with someone who loves you and has committed their life to you, not someone who's just hit it and quit it, kind of thing. And so, yeah, commit to purity. And then the final one is pursue a Christ-centered marriage.
Amen.
Seek a relationship that glorifies God. It shouldn't just be good for you. It should glorify God. That's the primary. And then if it's glorifying God, it's going to be good for you. And then it's going to be good for your children. It's going to be good for the community. It's going to be good for the church. It's going to be good. That's what we've been talking about.
Yes.
And so I don't know if you have a final thing that you would like to say before we close, to summarize just your thoughts here.
I'm quoting you. I wrote this down. You said it earlier, and you just freestyling. You didn't even know. This decision is not about romance. It's about destiny. So understanding that, Prince Charming, and you're going to get married and have your nice house with a white picket fence and live happily ever after. That cannot happen if you've not. That happily ever after first is a fairy tale. It's a fairy tale.
Let's start with that.
It's a fairy tale. Even in those movies, they didn't even kiss until they said I do. Okay.
That's true.
But the fact remains that marriage is it's the choice you're making to be married. It's a very important one. And your current life and your salvation depends on it. So don't take it lightly. Don't rush into it, and don't take it lightly.
Amen.
Read the book.
Read the book. We're going to leave it right there because that summarizes everything. Don't take it lightly and read the book.
Yes.
We invite you to share your thoughts and your questions in the comments. We do go back and check those and respond and join the conversation and get the book. Like we don't get anything from the book other than you having a better relationship. And even if you are married, you can still turn it around. But if you're not particularly, you can start out right, because you're going to start out how you want to hold out.
Yes.
And so like, comment, share, all the things. And we really appreciate you joining us. Again, I've dropped in the chat the interview that I just did about being single during the Valentine time, and also the Kindle version of this book, The Adventist Home.
Awesome.
So we love you. We thank you for watching. And until next time, make choices that will help you live, love, and marry wiser. God bless you.